Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has decided not to run for re-election for leadership of the Liberal Democratic Party next month. Mr. Kishida says this is an obvious first step to show the LDP will change as public trust in the party tanks to record lows. This follows a series of political scandals.
国民の信頼あってこその政治であり、政治改革を前に進めるとの強い思いを持って国民の方を向いて重い決断をさせていただきました。
Public support for Mr. Kishida and the LDP has declined over the last few months amid revelations of party misbehavior. Most prominently, a slush fund scandal late last year that uncovered hundreds of millions of yen in undeclared donations from political fundraising parties. It has been called the country's worst political corruption scandal in decades. Also eating into the LDP's reputation, its decades-long ties to a controversial religious group once known as the Unification Church. The party's links to the group was brought to the fore in 2022 after a man killed ex-Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in revenge for his family's financial ruin. The attacker's mother was left bankrupt following huge donations to the Unification Church. Mr. Kishida's successor will have to face the task of restoring public confidence in the party and escalating geopolitical tensions. Michiyo Ishida has more.
Next, for the party, it's about electing a new president. Because Mr. Kishida made clear he is not running, his cabinet ministers, party aides will be free to run. And if Mr. Kishida was running, it would have been seen as a betrayal if his cabinet members ran. Now, for the public, the top favorite is and has always been former LDP Secretary General and Defense Minister Michiyo Ishida, but he is not popular within the ruling party. Now, number 2 at this point is Shinjiro Koizumi, former Environment Minister and, as you know, son of former Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi.
And Mr. Kishida ending a 3-year term marred by that political fund scandal and low public approval ratings. Here again is CNA's Michiyo Ishida with a look back at his tenure.
By stepping down, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida sought to take responsibility for the mishandling of unreported political donations to his Liberal Democratic Party collected during fundraising parties. That scandal translated into poor public approval ratings for his cabinet, based on media polls, lingering around 20%. He said his party needed to reinvent itself. For that, a change was needed.
その際、自民党が変わることを示す、最も分かりやすい最初の一歩は、私が身を引くことであります。私は来たる総裁選には出馬いたしません。
Mr. Kishida added that he chose his timing to announce he is not seeking re-election, as his diplomatic schedule is now settled. He wrapped up a key diplomatic mission on Tuesday with a phone conversation with his Mongolian counterpart after skipping a planned 3-nation tour to Central Asia last week. He canceled the trip due to an unprecedented mega earthquake alert issued by the Japan Meteorological Agency following a magnitude 7.1 quake off Kyushu last Thursday. Mr. Kishida's term is marked by several achievements in foreign policy. He mended ties with South Korea to a positive level not seen since Japan's colonization of the country, allowing deeper security cooperation to counter the threat posed by North Korea. And he brought ties with the Philippines to a quasi-alliance level amid China's growing assertiveness in the disputed South China Sea. Under Mr. Kishida, Japan also strengthened its alliance with the U.S. further by enhancing security cooperation and unveiled its biggest military buildup since World War II, approving a hike in defense spending as the country faces a more complex security environment. Last year, as chair of the group of 7 industrialized nations, Mr. Kishida hosted leaders in Hiroshima, where an atomic bomb was used against the civilian population for the first time, and called for a world without nuclear weapons, as Russia threatened its use and North Korea conducted nuclear tests. He warned that East Asia could be the next Ukraine. Domestically, he pushed for the use of nuclear power on the back of rising fuel prices and promotion of carbon neutrality, despite lingering concerns following the Fukushima disaster more than a decade ago. He also gave the green light for Fukushima plant to release treated radioactive water into the sea, a key step in decommissioning the reactors, despite opposition from China. A tragic incident which shifted into criticism towards his party was the assassination of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in July 2022. The incident revealed Abe and the LDP's deep ties to the controversial Unification Church. Mr. Kishida said in his news conference on Wednesday that he still has work to do. He wants to revise Japan's post-war constitution, promote political reform, and support the recovery of Noto Peninsula from the New Year's Day earthquake. And he will need to prepare for any further quakes and a typhoon expected to hit the Tokyo area on Friday. Michiyo Ishida, CNA, Tokyo.